The Galactic Empire extended its olive branch, offering peace talks after years of brutal warfare. Earth's delegation, cautious but hopeful, agreed to meet on a neutral space station. The U.S. Army Rangers were tasked with security, their steely vigilance masking the tension that hung heavy in the air. Diplomats exchanged rehearsed pleasantries, and the Empire's envoy spoke of reconciliation and mutual prosperity. For a moment, it seemed as though the bloodshed might finally end. Then it happened. A subtle movement in the corner of the hall, the glint of a weapon. In an instant, chaos erupted. Hidden assassins struck with merciless precision, cutting down Earth's diplomats where they stood. The room devolved into a battleground, screams echoing as the Rangers sprang into action. Their training kicked in, they moved like shadows, retaliating against the ambush with brutal efficiency. But it was too late. The Empire's trap had been sprung, and the damage was irreparable. Earth's lead negotiator, General Carter, fell under a hail of plasma fire. His final words, gasped through clenched teeth, were a plea. "Don't let this stand." The Rangers fought their way out, their numbers thinned but their resolve hardened. They escaped the station, carrying with them the weight of failure and the bodies of fallen comrades. The news spread like wildfire across Earth. Broadcasts replayed the massacre, showing the Empire's envoys standing over the bodies of Earth's delegation, smirking. The betrayal ignited fury among Earth's population. Protests erupted in every major city. The hope for peace had been shattered, replaced by a searing desire for retribution. Humanity's trust in diplomacy crumbled, and calls for war grew deafening. In a quiet, dimly lit room at a Ranger outpost, a group of survivors gathered. They replayed the events in their minds, each detail etching itself deeper into their memories. Sergeant Cole, a seasoned leader with a sharp mind and a colder heart, addressed the group. "The Empire didn't just kill our leaders," he said. "They spat in our faces. They think we'll crawl back, begging for scraps. They think we're weak." The room fell silent, the air thick with rage and determination. Another Ranger, Private Moreno, spoke up, her voice trembling with controlled fury. "We can't wait for Earth to decide. We know what needs to be done." Heads nodded in agreement. The betrayal demanded justice, not through negotiations or formal declarations of war, but through decisive, calculated action. They began to plan, pooling their collective expertise and resources. Intelligence reports hinted at the location of the Empire's nerve center, a planet fortress named Zerath Prime. It was said to be impenetrable, its defenses unmatched. But the Rangers saw an opportunity. Zerath Prime's location, deep within the Empire's territory, made it overconfident and complacent. Its very strength could be its weakness. The Rangers worked in secrecy, avoiding the bureaucratic gridlock that slowed Earth's military response. They would act alone, without orders or support, because they knew that time was against them. Every day that passed allowed the Empire to tighten its grip and plot its next move. They would not give the enemy that chance. As they prepared, each Ranger faced the gravity of their choice. They knew the odds, understood the risks. But they were united by a singular purpose: to ensure that the Empire would never again have the chance to betray humanity. The mission wasn't about revenge. It was about sending a message, a declaration that humanity would not cower, would not negotiate with treachery, and would not falter in the face of oppression. The Rangers had made their decision. The galaxy would soon know what it meant to cross them. The Rangers, now united under their silent but resolute pact, turned their focus to the task ahead. Intelligence reports flooded in, detailing the strategic importance of Zerath Prime, the Empire's crown jewel. The planet was a fortress, housing not only the Empire's military command but also the logistical lifelines that supported their galactic dominance. Destroying it wouldn't just weaken the Empire, it would shatter its foundation. The Rangers dissected every detail of the intelligence, pinpointing weaknesses in what appeared to be an impenetrable defense. Zerath Prime was surrounded by orbital weapons platforms, shield arrays, and a fleet of destroyers. On the surface, layers of automated turrets and regiments of elite Imperial forces stood ready. But no fortress was perfect. Deep in the files they found a flaw, a solar storm pattern that, at its peak, could disable sections of the planetary defense grid. The next storm was days away, a fleeting window that they couldn't afford to miss. Their plan began to take shape. It was audacious, almost reckless, but every step was rooted in precision. First, they would use the storm's electromagnetic interference to breach the outer defenses, relying on Earth's stealth technology to stay undetected. Once inside the atmosphere, they'd land in a remote sector of the planet, far from the main garrisons, and move covertly to their primary objective, the central command hub. Their final step would be to plant charges at critical points, crippling the infrastructure and rendering Zerath Prime useless to the Empire. The logistics were daunting. They needed advanced weaponry, hacking tools, and the means to transport themselves across hostile terrain. Supplies were scarce, but ingenuity compensated where resources fell short. Rangers worked tirelessly to retrofit their equipment, modifying their gear to withstand the electromagnetic disruption of the storm. Every ranger, regardless of rank, contributed their expertise, turning the outpost into a hive of activity. But even the most meticulous plan required a wild card. The Rangers knew they couldn't succeed alone. They needed allies, those with first-hand knowledge of Zerath Prime's inner workings. It was a desperate gamble, but they reached out to alien resistance groups, species oppressed by the Empire, who had little reason to trust humanity but every reason to hate their common enemy. The Rangers' pitch was simple: join us, and we'll strike a blow the Empire will never recover from. Resistance leaders were skeptical, but the Rangers' determination swayed them. Stories of humanity's resilience and defiance had already spread across the galaxy, painting a picture of a species that refused to bow. Slowly, alliances began to form. The alien resistance brought valuable intel, maps of underground tunnels, and knowledge of the Empire's tactics. They also brought raw anger, a fuel that matched the Rangers' own resolve. As the pieces came together, the Rangers held a final briefing. Sergeant Cole laid out the mission step by step, leaving no room for doubt or hesitation. "This isn't just about us," he said, his voice steady. "This is about everyone who's suffered under the Empire's boot. We're the tip of the spear, but the galaxy will follow if we succeed." There were no speeches, no grand declarations. Each Ranger understood the gravity of their mission. Failure wasn't an option, not because of pride, but because of necessity. They were humanity's shield and sword, and their success would determine whether the Empire continued to reign unchecked. As the countdown to the storm began, the outpost buzzed with silent anticipation. Weapons were checked and rechecked. Maps and routes were memorized. Rangers exchanged brief nods, their faces betraying no fear, only focus. They were ready, not just for the mission, but for the uncertainty that lay beyond it. They knew the risks, but they also knew that the path to freedom was carved by those willing to act when others hesitated. The Rangers would not wait for the Empire to strike again. They would take the fight to the enemy's doorstep, not as conquerors, but as soldiers defending their right to exist. And when the storm arrived, they would be ready to move, silent and unseen, toward the heart of the beast. As the solar storm enveloped Zerath Prime, the Rangers initiated their approach. The electromagnetic interference rendered the Empire's advanced detection systems blind, a vulnerability the Rangers had anticipated and exploited. Their stealth ship pierced through the planetary defenses without incident, the first step in a mission where precision meant survival. The plan, meticulously crafted, was now in motion, and there was no turning back. The ship landed in a desolate region far from the planet's main facilities, a calculated choice to avoid immediate detection. The Rangers disembarked swiftly, their movements precise and silent. Each step brought them closer to their target, the central command hub that controlled Zerath Prime's military operations. But the journey was treacherous. Harsh terrain and sporadic patrols forced the team to adapt, relying on their training and instincts to navigate the hostile environment. Despite their precautions, an unexpected complication arose. A patrol unit, larger and more heavily armed than anticipated, crossed their path. Engaging them would risk exposure, but evading them entirely wasn't an option. The Rangers, using their environment to their advantage, executed a flawless ambush. It was over in seconds, the patrol neutralized without a sound. The efficiency of the operation underscored their resolve. There was no room for mistakes. Moving deeper into enemy territory, the Rangers encountered signs of the Empire's cruelty. Alien prisoners, malnourished and broken, were being transported in armored convoys. The sight ignited a quiet fury among the team, but they stayed focused. Intervening now could jeopardize the mission. Still, they made a note of the convoy's routes, a potential target for later. As they neared the command hub, the landscape transformed. Massive structures loomed in the distance, their scale a testament to the Empire's might. Security intensified, with drones and patrols crisscrossing the area. The Rangers adjusted their approach, splitting into smaller units to increase their chances of avoiding detection. Each unit moved independently, yet their coordination was seamless, a product of countless hours of training and trust. Inside the command hub's perimeter, the Rangers faced their most daunting challenge yet. The facility's defenses were layered and complex, with automated turrets and biometric scanners at every entry point. Their infiltration required both technical expertise and nerves of steel. Specialist Carter, the team's tech expert, bypassed the security systems with remarkable efficiency, opening a path for the others. Every second spent hacking was a second closer to discovery, but Carter's calm under pressure proved invaluable. Once inside, the scale of the operation became clear. The hub was a hive of activity, with officers coordinating military campaigns across the galaxy. The Rangers blended into the shadows, observing and cataloging key locations for sabotage. Their primary objective was the Central Command Core, a heavily fortified room where the Empire's leadership monitored and directed their forces. Reaching the core was no small feat. The Rangers navigated a labyrinth of corridors, avoiding guards and surveillance at every turn. Along the way, they planted explosives at critical points, ensuring that even if they didn't reach the core, the facility would suffer catastrophic damage. But failure wasn't an option, not here, not now. The final approach to the core was the most perilous. Guards were stationed at every entrance, and the Rangers knew a direct confrontation would alert the entire facility. Using a combination of distraction and deception, they created a diversion that pulled the guards away. It was a gamble, but one that paid off. The path to the core was clear, and the Rangers seized the opportunity. Inside the core, the team worked quickly, downloading critical data while setting charges to destroy the facility. Every action was deliberate, every second accounted for. The mission was nearly complete, but the storm outside began to wane, and with it, the Empire's systems started coming back online. Time was running out. As the Rangers prepared to exfiltrate, an alarm sounded. Their presence had been discovered. The facility erupted into chaos, with soldiers mobilizing to contain the breach. The Rangers, undeterred, fought their way out, their precision and discipline unmatched. They moved as one, covering each other and neutralizing threats with ruthless efficiency. Reaching the extraction point, the Rangers detonated the charges, unleashing a series of explosions that rippled through the facility. The command hub, once a symbol of the Empire's dominance, was reduced to ruins. The Rangers escaped into the storm, their mission a success, but the fight for survival was far from over. The explosions echoed across Zareth Prime, a deafening reminder of the Rangers' victory. The destruction of the command hub sent shockwaves through the Empire's ranks. Soldiers, once confident in their invincibility, scrambled in disarray, unable to coordinate without their central command. The Rangers, however, had no time to savor their success. The storm was subsiding, and reinforcements were undoubtedly on their way. Their mission was only half finished. They still needed to make it out alive. Moving with relentless precision, the Rangers began their exfiltration. The escape was fraught with danger, as alarms blared and Imperial forces mobilized across the planet. The once quiet terrain now teemed with patrols, searchlights sweeping the ground. Every movement was a calculated risk, every decision a matter of life and death. Yet the Rangers pressed on, their training and discipline guiding them through the chaos. As they neared their extraction point, a new obstacle emerged. The Empire had dispatched aerial drones to track them, their infrared sensors scanning for heat signatures. The Rangers quickly adapted, using the environment to mask their presence. They submerged themselves in rivers, hid beneath thermal cloaks, and used the planet's natural terrain to outwit their pursuers. It was a test of ingenuity and resourcefulness, and the Rangers excelled. Their path took them through the remnants of the alien prisoner convoys they had noted earlier. The sight of the captives, huddled in fear and confusion, stopped the Rangers in their tracks. They had completed their mission, but leaving these prisoners behind felt like abandoning their duty. After a brief, heated discussion, the decision was unanimous. They would not leave anyone behind. Freeing the prisoners would make their escape exponentially more difficult, but it was a risk they were willing to take. The Rangers executed the rescue with their characteristic efficiency. They disabled the convoy guards and broke open the cages, rallying the prisoners to follow them. The freed aliens, a mix of species from across the galaxy, looked to the Rangers with a mix of gratitude and awe. Despite the language barriers, the message was clear: these humans had risked everything for them, and they would not forget it. The addition of the prisoners complicated the escape. Moving undetected was now impossible, and the Empire's forces began closing in. The Rangers adapted their strategy, using guerrilla tactics to create distractions and draw the enemy away from their main group. Every explosion, every skirmish was designed to buy time, to give the prisoners a chance to reach safety. The Rangers operated with unwavering precision, their unity a testament to their bond. As they approached the extraction point, their ship came under heavy fire. Imperial reinforcements had anticipated their escape route, and the area was swarming with troops. The Rangers, outnumbered and outgunned, prepared for a final stand. But just as the situation seemed hopeless, their alien allies, those they had freed and those from the Resistance, arrived. The alien fighters, inspired by the Rangers' courage, launched a coordinated attack on the Imperial forces, creating an opening for the team to escape. The Rangers and their allies fought side by side, their combined strength overwhelming the Empire's forces. It was a moment of unity, a powerful demonstration of what could be achieved when species put aside their differences. The Rangers secured the ship, loading the prisoners and their team as the battle raged around them. With the last of their charges detonated to cover their retreat, they lifted off, leaving behind a shattered battlefield and a demoralized enemy. As the ship ascended, the Rangers transmitted a final message to the galaxy. Using the data they had extracted, they exposed the Empire's atrocities, broadcasting images of enslaved populations, war crimes, and the corruption at its core. The message ended with a simple declaration: humanity stands for freedom. The Empire's reign of terror ends now. The transmission sparked immediate reactions across the galaxy. The Empire's subjects, long oppressed, began to rise up. Rebellions ignited on dozens of planets, fueled by the Rangers' actions and the truth they had revealed. The Empire's strength began to crumble, its authority undermined by the very people it sought to control. Back on Earth, the Rangers were hailed as heroes, though they accepted the praise with quiet humility. They had accomplished their mission, but at great cost. Their actions had changed the galaxy, proving that even in the face of overwhelming power, courage and determination could prevail. They had shown the galaxy what it meant to be human, not just warriors, but protectors of justice and freedom. Their mission had started as a response to betrayal, but it had ended as something far greater. The Rangers had lit a spark that would burn long after their return, a symbol of hope and resistance for those who had known only oppression. They had made their decision, and the galaxy would never forget it.